I don't know why I keep switching it. Hey, Dragonlings! Welcome back to another live stream. It's been a bit, so I'm a little out of practice. Plus, I'm used to having guests, and I don't have a guest today. Hello, welcome. If you're here, ooh, why is our echo? Interesting. Gotta fix some audio issues. Give me a second. Mhm. Hopefully that fixes it. Let's find out if it does. It was echoing on my side, so I'm hoping that'll fix the issue. Okay, it sounds like it might. Anyways, hello everyone. Welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Skye. I'm a fantasy author who typically writes shorter paranormal romance stories under the name Kota Hegyes and longer paranormal romance and fantasy stories under SD Hegyes. We're going to be doing some productivity sprints tonight. My dog is tip tapping near the door, so I think she wants to go out. So we're going to try to keep this as short as possible. What's everyone working on tonight? Let me know in the comments. I am working on the seventh and final story in the Sultry Solstices series. It's a paranormal romance short story series following seven sisters as they find romance with supernatural creatures. I have four of the seven published already. The fifth one comes out on Tuesday. Six is with beta readers, and I'm working on final edits of seven before I send that to beta readers. So that is what I'm working on tonight. Let me know what you guys are working on tonight in the comments. If you're working on anything, if you're just here to chill and chat, let me know. If you're doing chores, anything like that, feel free to let me know. But yeah, it's been a bit since I have done some live streams. So, yeah, if you are new to my live streams and have never attended one before, the way I like to do things is we'll do 30-minute sprints. I need to update my timer actually, so it says that. We're going to do 30-minute sprints with 5-minute chit chats in between. And during those sprints, I like to put up writing prompts for anyone who wants to write but is not quite certain what they want to write about, so that it can hopefully inspire you. But yeah, that is how we're going to do things. And during the chit chats, we'll talk about anything and everything, including updates and plans for the future, I guess. Something going on outside, I think. Let's go check on that in a second. So, yeah, let's see if there's anyone in the comments and what's going on. Kay is here. Hello, Kay. I'm here when you're here. It's a sprint. I'm awake and trying to work on getting back to sleep. We'll probably read for a while until I get tired again. So that sounds like a plan. What are you reading? Out of curiosity. I have been reading a whole bunch of short stories as like research, and then something I've been debating doing for Q3, October, November, December. Yeah, Q4. Jeez, crikey, we're near the end of Q3 now. But something I've been trying to figure out if I want to do for Q4 is the Ray Bradbury challenge. And for those who don't know, the Ray Bradbury challenge is where it's based off a theory that Ray Bradbury said that if you read one short story, one poem, and one essay a day, um, you'd be, I guess, a more intelligent person. And so I want to do something like that. And I also want to combine it to the fact of like I want to get back into journaling because I've kind of gotten out of the habit of that. And I've been kind of leaning towards morning pages, except for I don't want to. Morning pages kind of is conscious stream of thought journaling, and the point of the morning pages is to write 3 pages, and I am just gonna take one of these notebooks, the composition notebook, and write front and back of a single sheet. So that is my plan with that. So between reading one short story, one poem, and one essay a day, I'll be doing morning pages or a kind of version of morning pages. And yeah, hopefully that is what I'm going to be doing. We'll see. I'm just trying to get back in the habit of doing various things because I've gotten out of the habit of it. Um, for those who aren't aware, I took a hiatus in July, and I'll be taking a hiatus for the rest of August as far as like videos go and vlogs go, because I haven't had a chance to film anything because I'm still getting used to a new work schedule. Started a new job in June, and it was a little tough trying to keep up with everything because my schedule was all over the place. Sometimes I would work the morning shift, which was like 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Sometimes I'd work the afternoon shift, which was 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And sometimes I would work the night shift, which was 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. So my schedule has been all over the place. And the other thing is that I'm switching to completely just the night shift, which is the shift I wanted from the get go. So I'm happy about that. But I'm still getting used to like trying to transition over completely because I have been all over the place and it's just been rough. So videos coming soon, vlogs coming soon. Hopefully, we'll see. But in the meantime, I'm just doing live streams and trying to get stuff done because my whole goal is to get the sultry solstices short story series done, and we're almost there. So by the end of September, we'll have all 7 out, and I'll be happy. Thank goodness. Okay, says I've been reading a lot of stuff, but right now working on a beta read for a friend. Ooh, we love a beta read. So, all right, it is 6 after the hour. Let's go ahead and get started on our first sprint. Let's get our first prompt up. Again, you do not have to use it. It's just there if you want to write, but don't know what you want to write about. And this one says, they weren't really a fan of the dog their partner got them until the day someone tried breaking into the house and the dog saved them. So that is the writing prompt. Feel free to use it if you want to, but you don't have to. And we're going to get started on this first sprint in 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, that is time, everyone. Let me know how you did, what you did in the comments. I did absolutely nothing. I went and watched a couple YouTube videos. Should I be working on stuff right now? Absolutely. Am I? Debatable. So I had planned on working on story number 7 from the Sultry Solstices, but I did not. And I have no excuse. I've just been scrolling through stuff, watching random things. I guess D23 was yesterday or recently, and there's been announcement trailers for Zootopia 3, for Frozen 3, Coco 2, Kingdom Hearts an animated series, Kingdom Hearts 4 the game. Like, so many, announcements since D23 that now I'm like playing catch up basically, and like, oh, what's going on? So, yay. But anyways, let's see how everyone else in the chat did. Kay said getting tired, going to head to bed for a bit and hopefully get some sleep. Thanks for being here, Skye. Have a great night. Thank you for joining me for a little bit. I'm glad I was able to get you sleepy enough that you went to bed. Happy about that. Laura is here. Hello, hello. I'm in a conundrum. I have to pick between 7 sweatshirts to pick one to go to my sister for Christmas. That's when you like choose a random number generator, label the sweatshirts 1 through 7, and then for like the next 7 years get her a new sweatshirt every year between those 7. That's what you do. Ooh, do it between Christmas and birthday, so that you get her one every. You get 2 every. She gets 2 every year. That's what you should do. I would do that for my sisters. If I could not decide between sweatshirts, I'd be like, well, I got gifts picked out for the next several years for many occasions, and that's what they would get. My sisters would get to the point where they'd open their present and be like, they'd open their present and they'd be like, let me guess, it's another sweatshirt. I was like, but you'll like it. One for Christmas, one for birthday. Exactly. They are all nerdy. Ooh, the nerdier the better. I love it. But yeah, that's what I would do. So something I need to start thinking about, and something I have been thinking about off and on recently, is I'm almost done with the Sultry Solstices series. I am editing book 7 so I can get it sent off to beta readers. And there is a couple projects I can work on after that is done. Some of them are up for pre-order now. Some of them will be up for pre-order soon. But as soon as I'll be spending most of October doing those, because I think I'm spending the rest of this month. Well, we're only halfway through the month. I'll be spending most of this month, the rest of this month, working on number 7. But then that final week of August, I will be free because I should be done with 7 by then. And I won't necessarily have 6 back from beta readers to get it done. Except for I think I will, because I think I get that back. I don't remember when I get that back. I get back on the 27th, so I should be working on that and finishing. Basically, the rest of August will be dedicated to Sultry Solstices. The first couple weeks of September will be dedicated to Sultry Solstices, and after that, I'll be wrapping up other projects that are publishing this year. But after all of that, I have to start figuring out plans for next year, which means I have to decide on projects I'm going to be working on. So, like, I have a few options. I could jump right into the next Seven Universe series, the next 7-story series, which is Monstrous Mates. In Monstrous Mates, all 7 short stories are about either a monster in the closet, monster under the bed kind of thing. They all have that theme going for them, and all the monsters are different. There's different type of monsters. Like the first one's like a demonic monster, the second one is a cat monster, the third one is a snake monster. Um, 4 is a spider, 5 is a shadow. What's 6? 6 is a monster that gets caught in a dream catcher, and the seventh and final one of that series is the King of Monsters. So that is how those are going. So I can either jump straight into that series, which I don't really want to do, or I can take a break from the Serenity universe and start focusing on something else entirely. I've been debating doing some contemporary short stories as well, and kind of alternating, like, this is going to be um, a what I mean by alternating, be like alternating what publications. Like this month will be a paranormal romance and a contemporary. This month be paranormal romance contemporary and stuff like that. So like I've got options. I have to way excuse me. I have way too many story ideas to be like falling into the trap of I have nothing to work on, because I have plenty to work on. It's just a matter of what do I want to work on, kind of thing, and that's where I'm at. Um, but yeah, I've got two, three other projects publishing this year after Sultry Solstices. One is a short story that's already edited, formatted, and it's up for pre-order now. It's an standalone sweet fantasy romance. Then I have later this year a spicy werewolf romance, paranormal romance coming out this year. And then the final book of the year is the writing prompt book. So um, the first short story comes out the end of September, second one comes out end of October, third one comes out beginning of November. And those will be the final three projects that come out this year. That is it. I am done for the year after those 30. So then it's just focusing on what I want to publish next year. I do know I want to get Monstrous Mates written so that I can get that published next year, because since there are 7 series in the Serenity universe, I'd eventually like to get to the point where I'm publishing two of those series a year. But probably for this year and next, I will just continue doing one series a year. It depends on how fast I finish Monstrous Mates. I don't want to do what I did this time for Sultry Solstices. I want to get all 7 written, I want to get all 7 edited, and I want to get all 7 beta read and formatted and ready for publication before I start putting up the pre-orders. So I do know that. And then I will probably do the same thing with the rest of the series in that universe. Which I've been slowly getting ideas for different stories in the universe and finding ways to tie them all together. Like, it's not that I have a shortage of ideas. It's just a matter of like figuring out a way to do cameos and like Easter eggs and stuff like that. Because like even in this first series, there's references to characters that are going to appear in later stories in the universe, and I have a sneaking suspicion some of the characters in this series are going to make cameo appearances in other series as well. So it's just a matter of tying all the things together without actually tying them all together, because I want readers to be able to come into each series without feeling like they have to read the series before. Like they could jump into anywhere in the universe and understand what's going on. That's always been my goal. As long as I accomplish that, I'm good. Not a Naga. Nagas are half human, and the monsters are all monsters. I do have ideas for Naga stories, though. There is a trilogy that I want to write, and I call them trilogies. In the case of all the stories I've been talking about recently, I use the word series very lightly, because my goal is to make all the stories read like standalones, but they all can be like connected. They're interconnected series. Excuse me, sorry. So what I mean by that is that, um, like in the case of the Serenity universe, all these stories take place in the same world. The world has the same rules, like that and stuff like that. And there's been references to characters, but I want each story to be readable as like a standalone. Like you do not have to read the one before it to. You could jump into book 4 and not have to worry about having read 1 through 3 before reading the fourth one, kind of thing. That is my goal. And that's been one of the questions I've asked beta readers every time I send beta readers my stories in this particular series. I'm like, can you read this and understand it without having read the ones before it? Do you feel like you need to read the ones before it to understand what's going on? So that's been cool. Um, so I use the term series very lightly when I talk about writing series, because of the fact that I want everyone to be able to read them without having to worry about what order they're in. And that's coming from someone who has to read things in order, even if you supposedly can read them out of order without, you know, missing anything. So no Naga stories yet, but maybe someday. I do have intentions of writing stories with Nagas. Nora says I'd do a standalone before diving into a series again. Fair. I have plenty of ideas for standalones too, so that could actually I do have a standalone I want to finish because I started working on Just One Bite, which is a vampire standalone, vampire paranormal romance standalone. I worked on that for the um, last 7-day book challenge, and for September's 7-day book challenge, I'm going to be working on that again. So I will be working on a standalone actually in September, which is the same month I will be finishing up the writing prompt book and the werewolf paranormal romance uh, standalone. So I'll be working on 2 standalones in September before I jump into quarter three's projects, wherever I work on. Laura messaged me on Instagram. I'm going to have to look at that during the next sprint, which we're going to be starting soon because I've been chatting for way too long. JC says, Hi, Skye. Hi, JC. Keep forgetting your new time and thinking that I was only a little late instead of a lot late. Hey, you were exactly when you needed to be. And there's no telling. I might change back to the other time. This time works for now. It may not work forever. It varies. So, it may change. I don't know. Part of the reason I wanted to do the earlier time though was so that because Justin works Sunday mornings and he works at 7 a.m. and so which means we're having to get up at 6. I don't want to still be streaming at 1 a.m. when I need to go to bed because there's times that I need the car so I can drive the girls back and forth to things. I don't know about you guys, but I want more than just 4 hours of sleep. So that's part of the reason I did it a little bit earlier. But I might change it back. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. All right. That said, that's all the comments I can see. We're going to start the next sprint. We get the writing prompt up for anyone who wants to use it. Again, you do not have to if you don't want to. It's just there. Excuse me. If you want to write with us, write on this prompt. It says the best part about working at a hotel, she decided, was seeing all the dogs come through. Facts. It exactly is the best part of my job so far. For those who don't know, I now work as a front desk clerk at a hotel. It's been fantastic so far, even if my schedule has been all over the place. The job itself has been fantastic. There's some things that I don't like, but that's with any job. Anyways, moving on. Ghosts were a secondary perk that she didn't know she needed. So that's the rest of that prompt. You can write it if you want to. You don't have to. And we're going to start this next sprint in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Alright, everyone, that's time. Let me know how you did, what you did in the comments. I got distracted again. Not unusual. I'm not being very productive tonight. I don't know what's going on. Part of it is that I just don't feel like working on anything. I haven't really felt like working on anything all day. I really am hitting the end of everything going on with the Sultry Solstices series, and I'm just like, I'm ready to be done. I've been ready to be done for a while. I've been working on it consistently since January. We're 8 months in. It should not take me this long to work on 7 short stories. It really shouldn't. They're short stories. They've all been less than 14,000 words. That's only, what? If they were all 14,000 words, that is 98,000. That's less than a normal novel. You would think it would go a lot faster because they're shorter. Not in my case. But it's okay because we're almost done. But yeah, tonight I don't feel like working on anything. And so like I've been avoiding it by doing other random things. I was just browsing TikTok. That's what I spent most of the sprint doing, was browsing TikTok. So, for no reason. And not watching half the videos. I watched the videos that my sister sent me, and that was pretty much it. But how about you guys? How did you guys do during that sprint? Let me know. Let me take this down. Let's see. Laura said, I'm going to bed soon, but I don't want to sleep yet. Maybe right? Maybe right? Well, if you need to sleep, go to sleep. We do not deny people sleep around here. If you need to sleep and you want to sleep, you should go to sleep. The one productive thing I did do is I went to my messages on Instagram and I looked at the pictures that Laura sent me. That was pretty much the only productive thing I did during that sprint. And I did that before I disappeared off screen. So, but yeah, I've got some stuff coming up. Earlier today, I did budgeting again so that I could figure out how much I need to save for our move. We were originally going to move in July of this year, and things just did not work out right for us, so we couldn't move. But so I started calculating again and re-budgeting numbers because of the fact that I guarantee things are going to go up. Plus, I wanted to factor in I wanted to make sure I have enough set aside for gas and stuff, mostly gas and hotels. Those are the two things I wanted to make sure we planned for along our trip back to North Carolina. We're going to be moving back to North Carolina in June of next year. Basically, the day after the girls get out of school, we'll pack up whatever's left in this house, whichever we haven't packed yet, and move in June, like the week after they get out of school, so that we can get plenty of time to acclimate back in North Carolina. Excuse me, get them registered for school there and all the fun jazz that we need to do. So we now have less than a year to get ready. I think I calculated it at it's more than 6 months. It's like 10 months. And I've got to put so much aside from each of my paychecks so that we can make the move. Is what it comes down to. And the amount I'm setting aside is actually smaller than I would like to, because I want to make sure we set aside enough that if there's anything, winter's coming up here, and winters are hard. We got an older truck that likes to not start in the middle of winter, so we need to make sure we've got money set aside for any repairs and extra gas and stuff like that happens whenever stuff like that happens. So I'm not setting aside as much as I would like to for our move, because the other thing I'm trying to do when I budget like this is I'm trying to set aside enough not only for the move itself, but to have a buffer so that we can still pay our bills, because we're still going to have phone bills, we're still going to have internet bill and stuff like that once we move, and I want to make sure I have the funds set aside so that we can continue paying those bills even after we move, while we're looking for jobs while we're in to meet them. The other thing I need to do is I need to start looking back into my certification classes again to see what I need to do to get signed back up so I can start taking them and hopefully get certified in bookkeeping so that I'm not without a job. Like, my goal before we move next year is to have my certifications in bookkeeping and have a remote bookkeeping job so that when we move, I'm not out of work and we still have a paycheck coming in. But if I can't do that, I want enough money set aside that we can last a couple months without worrying about bills if it comes to it. So that's what I did this morning is I was doing a whole bunch of budgeting and calculating and seeing if that would be possible. Um, and it is. It's just a matter of like setting aside enough to do that. So, and maybe that's part of the reason why I just don't feel like writing. Excuse me. Maybe. Um, and it also might be the fact that this is the last story in the series, and I'm just not. As much as I want to move on to other projects, I'm also not ready to let it go because I know it's like almost done. So it's one of those catch-22s. I'm ready to be done with the series, but I'm not ready to see it go. I hope that makes sense. Makes sense in my head. I'm just a mess, a conflicting mess at the moment. That's all it is. But that being said, I've reached the end of the timer, so we're going to do another sprint. This is sprint number 3. So here's our prompt for anyone who wants to use it. Again, you do not have to. And it says, he knew he only had, that should say had. He knew he only had a few more months. That's going to bother me. He knew he only had a few more months to live, and he was going to go out with a bang when he did. So that is our prompt for anyone who wants to use it if you don't want to. And we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. All right, this time, everyone, let me know how you did what you did in the comments. Do-do-do. I figured out a couple things. A couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, when I was avoiding working on sultry solstice stuff, I went ahead and put together a document that I want to use to like track all my words next year. Because when I write, I tend to put my words in various different places. When I'm here, I tend to write on my laptop, but when I'm at work, I tend to write on my tablet. And for a while there, what I was doing with my tablet is I was writing on Notion and then transferring the stuff from Notion to my laptop. But sometimes I would go days at a time writing in the same document on Notion to the point where I didn't know what I wrote each day instead of switching documents. So what I was doing was creating a Scrivener document, which will be in my Dropbox folder because Dropbox is how Scrivener communicates with tablets like iPad, which is what this is. And I created folders for every day of every month, basically. So like right now, if if I was using that file, which I technically am, but we'll get that in a second. Um, there's a folder for each month, and then within each month there is a folder for each day, and then in those folders for each day I can drop in documents for whatever I'm working on. So like if I'm working on sultry solstices 7 chapter 1, I can have one document named chapter 1, one document named chapter 2, so on and so forth. And if like it takes me multiple days to write the same chapter, I can do chapter 1 continued on the next day's paper. So basically, what I was doing was fixing that up and making sure that looks the way I want it to, and making sure it can transfer over to this really easily so I can transfer back and forth when I'm working on stuff at work versus when I'm working on stuff here. The other thing I did is send a manuscript template that I use for all of my projects when I send to beta readers, and I sent it to my daughters so that they could use it for when they're submitting stuff because they have started doing story stuff and submitting stuff to places. So that's what I worked on this sprint. I got that done, and I discovered that I had done some writing the other day, and I forgot to put it in my file because I'd basically done one to test out this file system that I want to use next year. I have been writing in it for like this month, so I have a file. It says Project 2027, but I also have one that's Project 2028, and it's August through December. And there was some writing I did on my phone the other day that I didn't do in Notion. I just using the Notes app, and I transferred that to this file. And it turns out I wrote 699 words that day on my phone using the Notes app. So that's part of the reason I'm doing this too, is to make sure I can transfer files and get all of my writing in one place. So already in August, how much writing have I done in August? I have done, that's not right. I want this. I've written 16,580 words in August by itself. And I can see in the file folders, like, I wrote on the 1st, the 6th, the 11th, the 13th, the 14th, and the 5th. And I haven't written anything for the 15th yet. I was going to, but I might have to move that file down to the 16th because that's probably when I'll write again. But I can see that I worked with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 documents on the 11th. That's when I finished up my final read through of 6 so I can send it to beta readers. SS6. So yeah, that's what I've been doing lately. Or that's what I did during that sprint. It was like play around with that file format. And then I sent the documents that I use as templates to my daughters so that they can start doing story stuff and submitting to publishers. I need to go over with them how to format that differently because I got a story from my youngest, and we'll go over that because it's formatted wrong. But we'll fix it. It's not a big deal. Let's see how you guys did in the comments. Laura says, I totally missed the chat break. I was deciding Christmas presents and journaling. I figured out my family members. Now I need to figure out my coworkers still. nothing wrong with that. I'm glad you could figure it out. I'm glad it all worked out. And yeah, excuse me. Do-do-do-do. Sorry, that's in the pop up on my screen. I was trying to figure out what it was. Anyways, moving on. We are at the next sprint, basically. This will be the last sprint of the night. Um, yeah, I've got nothing. I don't know what I'm going to do on this sprint other than procrastinate some more on stuff. But we're going to go ahead and write 30 minutes on the clock. Here's our prompt for anyone who wants to use it. It says, everyone knew cats were intelligent, but that never proved more true than when the aliens came and demanded to speak to the human overlords. And they meant the cats. So that's our prompt for anyone who wants to use it. 30 minutes on the clock, starting in 3, 2, 1, let's go. Oops, I forgot to actually start the timer. I thought I clicked it. Let's go. All right, that is time, everyone. Let me know how you did, what you did in the comments. I can go ahead and stop this timer because we're done. That was our last sprint. So I spent most of that sprint journaling, doing a couple things that way, um, trying to figure out what I wanted to work on after I finished Sultry Solstices, other than the 3 projects I already have slated, just in case I get done with those projects, because 2 of them shouldn't take me too long to finish. And then the final one, it's supposed to be a 60 to 70,000 word book, and during the 7-day book challenge, I wrote 40,000. So I've only got 20 to 30,000 more words to write before that one's done. So that being said, I think that I'll finish that quickly too. So now I have to figure out what else I want to work on in September, and then start planning for October through December, and deciding what's going to be written when, so I can get a publishing schedule put together, like a publishing plan, so I don't run into the same problem I did this year with being basically right up to deadlines, because I don't like that feeling at all. So, Laura said, and I missed the other chat break. Laura said, I'm here. Think I found the last present I need to save for. Nice. Congratulations. That's awesome. 40K is so good. It is. I'm very pleased with that. One of the other things I did during that sprint too is, like, I have a goal every year, and most of the time I don't hit it. And I only started doing this when I started tracking my word count in 2020. And 2020 wasn't a year where I was like, I didn't set a goal in 2020 as far as my words go, because no one could have predicted what happened in 2020 until it did. But where'd it go? Fudge. Okay, there it is. Can't see. There's no lights. Hold on. But in 2020, I wasn't working. I was already not working like a physical drive to job. I was doing some freelance work, and I ended up writing 400,000 words that year. Don't know how. Worked on lots. Most of it was on one series that I was writing, rewriting, editing for publication in 2020. Only one of the books, of the 4 books that I was doing that with, ended up coming out in 2020. But that's not the point. I worked on lots of stuff in 2020, and that was part of it. But I got 400,000 words. And ever since then, every year, my word count goal for the year is for 400,000 words. Based on that. Knowing I probably wouldn't hit it once I started doing jobs again, where I had to physically go and drive places and be at work, and the kids got older and were doing activities and stuff. In June of this year, I hit 200,000, so I'm halfway there. Um, and according to my Scrivener document, what I did was I set up my Scrivener document for next year, and I put the fact that my word count goal is 400,000 words, and that I wanted to write daily. And I set up all those things that you can do in Scrivener to, like, set word count goals. And then I reset my 2026 one that I'm working with to test it, and I set it for 200,000 since I'm halfway to the goal already. And as of today, my word count goal is 1,000 or 1,300. I don't remember. Let's find out. It's either 1,030 or 1,300. Those numbers are in my head. If I write every day between now and the end of the year, I have to write 1,319 words a day in order to hit 200,000. So that this year I could hit that 400,000 word goal. Will I hit that? We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. We have another 7-day book challenge coming up in September, which is when I'm going to work on that story that I worked for last 7-day book challenge, and finish that up. That's when I'll make my goal to write another. I'm going to set my goal for 20K, knowing it's probably going to be closer to 30K. And I want to finish finish that story. That's what I want to do. After editing, it's probably going to be closer to 90K. because one of the things that happens with my first drafts is I leave out a lot of description. Description is the bane of my existence. So when I go back and edit and rewrite and stuff like that, I'll add a lot of description. And I think the final word count goal is going to be somewhere between 90 to 100,000 words for that story. But we'll see. It's a standalone vampire paranormal romance. So I'm really excited to jump back into that. But there's also like a couple of short stories I need to wrap up that are like started but not finished, or like there's one that I need to edit so that I can get it published in October. So like September is going to be all about finishing projects for this year. The standalone is not coming out this year. That will come out like late next year because of the fact that that's in first draft mode right now. I want to finish the first draft of that, and then next year I can focus on rewriting, editing, and all that jazz. So that hopefully by the end of next year that one can come out. I'm hoping for an October release of that one next year. But that's what I'm talking about. I need to start figuring out what I'm going to work on this year because for the rest of this year, because whatever I work on for the rest of this year is what I'm hoping to publish in 2027. That's the goal. What I would like to do is get everything I want to publish the next year written and edited and close to publication ready the year before. So like anything I want to publish in 2028 will be written, edited, polished, and all that fun jazz in 2027. I'm slowly getting there. We'll get there eventually. So that's what I've been doing and then I spent the last few minutes of that sprint journaling about those thoughts and being like, this is the plan. This is what I would like to do. Um, YouTube, I know that I will be taking hiatuses from YouTube in June of next year and December of both this year and next year. Those are going to be my hiatus months from now on. Those months are going to be used to like get caught up on any writing things, take a break from YouTube, get caught up on videos so that I can like get like script and write and film and edit and upload videos so I don't get behind again like I did this year. Because I had all of my videos planned out for this year, and then I just got behind and I stopped filming and I stopped editing. And when I went on a hiatus, I could have had videos posted because I had videos planned for the whole month. I had planned on filming them a couple months ahead of time, and just I never got around to it. So hiatus months are about like playing catch up and planning ahead, and wrapping anything up I hadn't finished prior to as well. Let's see. Laura said I actually got words yesterday. I'm so proud of you for that. I remember you mentioning that, and I'm like, yay, makes me happy. Find to forget to account for days off in your yeah. So in Scrivener, one of the things it does is it lets you choose like what days you're writing, Monday through Friday or Sunday through Saturday kind of thing. And I always have Sunday and Monday as my days off because since I work nights, or at least this is the way I used to do it when I was at the clinic. Since I worked nights, what I would find myself doing is that my lunch break was at like 1 a.m. in the morning. So when I went in on Monday night, I would write during my lunch break at work. So I was writing on Tuesday technically. So my writing days are Tuesday through Saturday, since those would be the days I worked. Now that I'm working where I am now, my writing days are going to be probably Monday through Saturday, with Sunday being a complete day off. And then Saturday, the only reason Saturday be a writing day, and again, it's like going to be, I have it in my projections as a day off technically, but because of my live streams being on Saturday nights, I will probably always count that as a writing day because there's a possibility during my writing sprints I will write instead of like at one point I was saying Saturdays were going to be for like editing videos, which I may still do, but like right now I don't have any videos to edit because I haven't filmed anything recently. So that's why like tonight I was doing random things. Whereas I think in the past I've mentioned, at least in the recent past, I've mentioned that I wanted to start using Saturday nights during my live streams as days I edit videos I've already filmed. Um, so I do have days off built in. When I look at my 2027, now the 2027 one's not going to be accurate as of right now because of the fact that we're not starting the year yet. And it's going based off of today. It doesn't. The one thing I wish Scrivener would let you do is set like a start date and an end date so that you could see like how many words you need to write a day starting on a specific date. And they don't do that, at least not yet. Or if there is a way to do that, I don't know it yet. Is this what I want? No, this is not the one I want. I want a different one. I can close that. Let's see. This is what I want. Make sure that I finish setting this up. Okay. So yeah, so I wanted to double check. My project 2027, which is where I'm going to put all of my writing for the year, is set up so that I have Sunday and Saturday off. And according to it, if I were to start today and have an end date goal of December 31st, 2027, I have to write 1,108 words. I don't know how many Saturdays and Sundays are in 2027. I probably could figure that. Actually, I think I could figure that out right now. Hold on. Let's find out together. Just because now I'm curious. Let's do yearly view 2027. So there is. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 42, 44, 46, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, 58, 60, 62, 64, 66, 68, 70, 72, 74, 76, 78, 80, 82, 84, 86, 88, 90, 92, 94, 96, 98, 100, 102, 100. So there's 104 Saturdays and Sundays total. So using my handy dandy calculator, there's 365 days in a year if it's not a leap year, which 2027 is not. So minus 104, that's 261 days. What did I say, 261? Yeah. As of right now, I have to write a little over 1,500 words every day, Monday through Friday, in order to meet my word count goal of 400,000 words for next year. If I start on January 1st. I don't always start on the 1st. It just depends on how I'm feeling. The 1st is a Friday this year. Friday? Yep. And I won't necessarily have the 1st off either, actually. Working at a hotel, that's the one thing, is that I don't have holidays off always. So that is something I have to take into account. And it's not because of working at the hotel, because other departments do have holidays off. Like I think housekeeping, except for like the head housekeeper and assistant head housekeeper, the rest of the housekeeping team has holidays, major holidays off, like New Year's, Christmas, Thanksgiving. I work front desk, so I will probably be working New Year's. So that's something to take into account too, is that I won't necessarily get the holidays off. Ooh, when is Christmas this year? That being said, I'm probably working Christmas. Let's go back into monthly view. December. Christmas is on a Friday. I will probably be working, and that's okay. That's okay. But yeah, let's see. September is a 3 paycheck month for me. Woot! Ooh, I'm loving that, Laura. Hold on. Now you got me looking because I've got paydays built into my calendar too. Just a 2-day, two months. See, my next 3. Not August, not September, not October, not December, but close. January is my next 3 paycheck month. Just keep writing, just keep writing. Absolutely. I even like put a statistics page in this tracker where I was like, word count goal 400,000, word count total difference, number of projects worked on, average word count per project, words written each month, and those are just like data I've been putting. Maybe I'll do a video where I talk about this a little bit more in depth and do like a screen share kind of thing. Like I said, I did that so that when I take my tablet to work, I can switch back and forth seamlessly between my tablet and my laptop without breaking anything and having too many projects on this because there's not a lot of space on this. So that is the plan. So okay, I am wrapping up my stream. But yeah, that is what I've been up to. That's what I've been working on. That's the thought process that's been happening the past few days. Now it's just a matter of me finishing up this seventh and final story in the Sultry Solstices. My goal is to finish it by the 27th. I have a feeling I'll finish it next week. I'm not worried about it. Excuse me. It's going to happen. So yeah. I don't think there's anything else to mention. Videos returning next month, hopefully. If not, I might just do more live streams during the week and popping in and just doing random like video chat kind of stuff. I don't know what's going to happen. I've got my eye on a new camera. Whether I'll get it or not, I don't know yet. There's some things happening. We're moving next June. I mentioned that I did the budgeting for that. So that's going to be happening next in June, which is one of the reasons why. Oh, that's what I was saying earlier. That was part of the reason why I decided to take the hiatus in July this year, is because originally we were supposed to move in July and it just didn't happen. Like the end of June, early July was when we were going to move, and it did not happen. But now we're financially stable enough and we're budgeting now to the point where we're going to be able to do that move next year. So that's working out well. But June and December will be hiatus months for me as I get my shenanigery together from now on, basically. So yeah, that's the updates on what I've been doing, what I've been working on, and I've got nothing else. So I think this is a good place to stop. I will be back next Saturday. I've already got my stream set up for the rest of this month. I've got to set up my streams for September, but I will get those done. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. All right, everyone. I hope you have a lovely evening. I hope you get all the things done that you want to get done. And I think this is where we're going to end tonight's stream. So I don't see any new comments in the comment section. So I'm going to just wrap this up. If you are new here or just tuning in, my name is Skye. I am a fantasy author. I write paranormal romance short stories under the name Kota Hegyes, and I write longer novellas and novels of fantasy of all subgenres under the name SD Hegyes. So yeah, you can click on that the QR code at the top of my screen in order to check out my current series that I'm working on. That is up for pre-order. The last 3 books are up for pre-order. Book 5 comes out on Tuesday. The last 2 books will come out in September, I believe. Yep, the last 2 books are coming out in September. So yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you all next week. Bye, everyone.